Thanks to Eufy for sponsoring this video. This is the Eufy S1 Pro, and it's arguably the most advanced cleaning robot on the market right now, with it being the first in the world to be able to clean its mop while it's mopping. And it's arguably one of the best looking robots too. It kind of reminds me of a sports car with the sleek fly line thanks to the hidden LiDAR system, which gives it a lower profile so it could fit underneath more, and there's also this squared off shape that helps it get deeper into corners compared to a circular designed robot. So when I first picked it up, I was kind of surprised by how heavy this thing was. I assume a lot of the weight is meant to help it apply more downward force when it's mopping and vacuuming, but either way, the thing is built like a tank, and it is loaded with tech. We'll start off with the all-new rolling mop system, which, unlike conventional flat or dual spinning mops, actually cleans itself while it's mopping, making it the first floor washing robot on the market. The way this works is it washes the roller on every rotation, collecting the dirty mop water into the onboard wastewater bin, and then replenishing the mop with clean water from the fresh water bin. With the idea behind it being that the mop won't spread around the messes that it picks up, since the mop itself is always clean. And at least in our tests, it didn't disappoint. It handled our standard food coloring test without much of a problem, and it did a good job at dealing with stubborn stains like coffee. But I wanted to go extreme with it, so we got some ketchup, we spread it out on the floor, and we had the mop do its thing. And on the very first pass, it was like the ketchup wasn't even there, with none of it spreading around to the rest of the floor. Whereas when we did the same exact test with the dual spinning robot we had, it ended up transferring the ketchup into this little crevice in our concrete away from the original stain, to the point where we had to have the Eufy come in and clean up after it. You really see the difference when you shine some UV light on it, where you can see the swirls of the other robot's spinning mops, with that hard line there being the cutoff zone where we set the S1 Pro to clean, after which there's no residue in sight. I mean, this is the same demo that Eufy showed in their marketing materials, but after seeing it with my own eyes, I'm a believer. But beyond its raw cleaning power, the other benefit of this system is it needs less trips back to the base station to clean its mop, since the mop pad is technically always clean. Whereas on other robots, those trips are necessary, otherwise it would continue spreading those messes around, which ultimately translates into the S1 Pro being able to complete its jobs up to 20% faster. And because it's also more efficient with its water use, that single 3-liter water tank can mop over twice the square footage compared to something like Eufy's own X10 robot. Of course, the S1 Pro isn't just the mop, right? It's also a vacuum, and it has 8,000 pascals of suction power and dual side brushes, which together make a pretty strong combo. In our crushed cereal test, which is always fun to prepare, the robot cleaned everything without a problem. But I wanted to push it a little bit further, right? So I got literal dirt from outside and spread it over our perfectly clean rug here. This is like the most extreme case scenario you can think of, where after lifting its mop pad by ½ inch to prevent the rug from getting wet from its roller mop, the S1 Pro handled the job pretty well. I had to do 4 passes since this was a pretty heavy duty task, with the 8,000 pascals of suction power being able to get deep enough into the rug to pick up most of the dirt. Like you could see it in the dustbin here. Now, a robot can only clean your floors as well as it can navigate them. And on the S1 Pro, you get Eufy's 3D matrix eye system, which they say lets the robot perceive and respond to obstacles similar to a human, with it getting dense, real-time 3D models with millimeter precision. There's a wide range of sensors that help make this happen, including active binocular infrared sensors, there's an RGB camera, there's that hidden LiDAR system in the front, with the system sensing a whopping 300,000 voxels, or volumetric pixels, 8 times every second, which, for some reference, is roughly 750 times higher than the competition. And when we set up this challenging obstacle course made up of a cable, a shoe, some Android figures, and a little Google bike, it did a really good job at avoiding things. It did lightly tap on a few things a few times, but nothing destructive. Whereas with our other LiDAR equipped robots, It got the cable, it wound it up, it knocked over the little Android figure, and then it errored out, requiring us to remove the cable manually. After we did that, it only went on to proceed to knock over the bike, which, at home, when you have kids or dogs leaving their toys around, it's the difference between running the robot when you want to versus only after you've meticulously prepared everything first. Now, we have got to talk about the base station, because it is unlike any other base station I've ever seen before. It straight up looks like a spaceship, and the tech inside of it kind of matches that vibe. It's the first base station I've seen with the built-in ozone generator, so it'll sterilize the tap water that you put in there, with it being able to eliminate up to 99.99% of harmful bacteria like E. coli, meaning when the robot goes out to mop, it'll only use clean, sterilized water, which should help maintain healthier indoor air quality. The water tank is also visible on the outside and transparent, which not only lets you see the cool sterilization process, but also on a more practical level, lets you check the water levels with a quick glance. Whereas on most other base stations, you have to open up the lid and pull the bin out. At the top, there's an LCD screen that shows you the robot's status, along with touch controls that technically let you operate it without needing to pull your phone out. Of course, for a higher level of customization with rooms and no-go zones, there's Eufy's well-designed app, or you can use Siri, although that won't be available until August. Now, you may have noticed that this base station is pretty tall. Eufy designed it this way so that way you don't have to bend over as much when you're either operating it or replacing the water bins. And it's not something that I ever thought about before when I was testing other robots, but after having this one, it's definitely a nice touch. The base station also has all the other stuff you'd expect from a high-end cleaning system. There's a slot for detergent, which automatically dispenses into the robot's water for you, so you don't have to manually add it every time. Underneath, there's a large 2.5 liter dust bag for the vacuum, which Eufy says lasts you up to 68 days before you need to replace the bag. And then finally, at the bottom is where all the action happens, from filling and draining the robot's onboard water bins to drying them up with the 131-degree heated air, which helps reduce those nasty odors and bacteria growth. So overall, this really feels like one of the most complete packages out there. The point of these robots is to reduce how much effort you have to put in. Most of these robots are pretty good at that, but the S1 Pro takes it just to another level. Eufy has come a long way over the last 5 years, from becoming the second largest brand in the US in the segment to achieving a world's first at the mid to high end with this self-cleaning tech. If you want to learn more, I'll be putting all the links you need down below in the description, including any discounts. Big thanks to Eufy again for sponsoring this product showcase. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the very next episode.